Hello, I'm going to inaugurate my YouTube channel with a look at this TV series Bridgerton. And what this is an anatomy of a scene in which I'm going to talk about how subtext was used to info dump a bunch of information about the Sharmas rather than giving that information more directly, and how that may have affected people's ability to understand what goes on later in the series, particularly in episodes 5, 6, and 7, which I view as being, in some ways, the Sharma episodes in the show. And I'm going to point out these things here, and I'm going to point out things that people have missed. Because one of the things that you have to pay attention to in Bridgerton is not just the dialogue, but how people say things, the way they act, facial expressions, things like the way furniture is positioned, the use. In this scene, you're going to see a lot of the use of mirrors, which is a theme from the entire season. I'm not going to talk about how it relates to the season. I'll do that later, but to this scene, but I'll do that at another point. But it's those little things that are in there that are communicating messages about, these characters. And I think this is arguably one of the most important scenes in season 2. I think it dumps the most information about the Sharmas. There are scenes before and after this that do the same, do some of that. But I think that this gives you the most information about the universal aspects of those people, their personalities, the way they interact with each other, and a glimpse into what their home life, minus the cultural implications, might have been before they came to England. Now, there's a lot of people that feel that Edwina doesn't really care about Kate. That she, they see Kate as in how she can serve them. That she and her mother see Kate in the way they can serve them. This look that's on Edwina's face right now doesn't suggest that at all. It basically shows that she loves her sister. She thinks her sister is pretty, and she's pleased to see her, looking to find a dress that will make her look pretty that night at the ball, which is something that I think probably is not the most immediate thought on Kate's mind.
Are you thinking of wearing that one? It is quite beautiful.
No, these are for you, Bon.
So now when Kate turned around when she was startled, she kind of had a little bit of a guilty look on her face at being caught daydreaming. More than likely, it was about what she was daydreaming about. We'll never know what that is, but what that is it's a suggestion that there's probably some things that Kate is hiding from Edwina, not only about their situation, but about who she is as a person. And one of the things that gets established before we get to this scene is the fact that Kate has a persona that she puts on, a facade for other people, including members of her own family. And it's something that gets dropped a little in the scene where she's riding across the park with Anthony, and comes back up again when she's meeting Lady Danbury for the first time. And we know that this is the facade that she presents to their family, because the family is not responding in any way that suggests that this is not the real Kate.
We have come to London to find your husband, not mine.
Yes, you are but a dear old maid.
Who shall be perfectly happy doting on my many nieces and nephews one day soon. I shall spoil them exceedingly. You do know that, yes?
So this exchange is important for a couple of different reasons. First of all, you can tell by the way that Edwina responds that she doesn't buy this in any way, and she thinks it's silly. And that's why she gives her a little bit of attitude when she's repeating what's probably an oft-told narrative about why they are there and, what's happening with Kate. It means that she thinks that Kate is worthy of finding a mate, and that she's not, and the idea that she isn't is silly and ridiculous, and that, but she's not going to fight her on it because, again, she doesn't think she's probably going to make any headway with Kate. So it's it's important to note, and also keep in mind this piece, because what's just been said is going to get weaved into a narrative that Edwina creates, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit.
What is it?
I only hope they like me tonight.
How could they not?
Mama is doing that thing she always does when she is worried. The gossip she endured after marrying Appa had to have been unbearable. Do you not think?
So there's a couple of different things here. There's what you've gotten in one sentence is a big info dump regarding Lady Mary. And that's Mama is doing that thing she always does when she gets worried. What they're telling you in that one sentence is Mama gets worried about situations where confrontations could occur, negative activities, and she tends to perseverate on the outcomes of such a thing. And what's happened is, more than likely, is Edwina has probably just come from that a conversation with her where she's dumped all these things on her, these worries and these perseverations. And among the litany of things, Edwina has probably picked up some things that have caused her to worry. And you can tell by the look on Kate's face on this that, once again, she's having that to deal with the outcome of her mother doing this kind of thing. You can tell by the look on her face. You can almost read her mind saying, not again, I've got to, deal with the damage control.
What troubles you? That was many years ago.
Everyone will still have questions about her family, about how you and I are related.
So, again, I believe that this is part of that thing that she just said. I believe is part of the litany of things that Lady Mary said to her. And because Edwina cares so much about Kate and she views her as being the most important person in her life, she's latched on to that one piece. And what I think was going on with Lady Mary while she was talking is, I'm going to be bringing my children into this. This was probably part of the litany of things that was going on when she was talking. And she was thinking in her mind, I'm going to be bringing my children into this, and they're going to figure out pretty quickly that Kate is not my daughter because of her age, and they're going to look down on her in the way that they did my husband. And I don't want that to happen to her. I don't want her to be hurt by these people. And Edwina, who they're trying to establish in this scene as impressionable by, her picking up on this and pulling it in, is communicating with her about something that she's concerned is going to hurt Kate. And a lot of people, though, use her comment on this as saying, you see, she does consider Kate to be different. And that's not at all where this is coming from.
We are sisters. This place may feel different, but it will never change the way you and I see each other.
So this, to me, is probably one of the most important lines in all of season 2, because this is the line that actually informs a specific scene in episode 6 that's pivotal to the whole situation about Kate and Edwina resolving their relationship and who they are, about the breakdown that had to occur in their relationship for each one of them to grow and to become the individual people that they're supposed to be. what happens when Kate comes back after having spoken with Anthony about getting Edwina to marry him is that when Kate starts talking about why she thinks that Edwina should go through with this, Edwina throws this piece back in her face. Not in direct terms, but in the way, if you listen to what she says, this is exactly what she's doing. She's basically saying, this place has changed how I see you. I do not see you the same way that I used to. I cannot trust you anymore to have my best interest at heart, to be the person to guide me, to make decisions before me, because you have shown by what's just happened that, what you're doing is not necessarily in my best interest. And I cannot rely on you anymore. I cannot rely on you to help me, and I need to make my own decisions. I need to be the one to decide what is going to happen for me and my future. And when Kate continues to push, that's when the word half-sister comes out. Now, most people think, oh, she's doing that to be mean because, she knows that that's Kate's deepest, darkest fear, is that they don't really consider her a member of the family, blah, 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 and they just tolerate her and what she's useful for. But that's not at all why Edwina says that. As we've established before, Kate puts on a facade. Edwina does not know what Kate's deepest, darkest secrets are. All she knows is what Kate has just said to her, which is this whole notion about how Edwina sees Kate gets changed by being part of the Ton, by entering into this world. And so the reason why she uses the term half-sister is she's trying to put some distance between her and Kate. She's not trying to be mean because she's evil and mean. She's trying to be mean because she thinks it's the only way Kate will understand that she's no longer going to rely on her to help her through these problems. That this is going to be all about what she wants and not what Kate thinks she should have.
Besides, you heard Lady Danbury. She will smooth everything over.
So here's Kate going
She's
into damage control, trying to get Edwina to calm down after this whole business and assuring her that everything's going to be all right. And the smoothed and polished way in which she does this suggests that this is something she's had to do a lot before, when Edwina's had run-ins with her mother about different upsetting things.
The Dowager is more formidable than I imagined. She'll have your head when she learns of your secret morning ride. Are you certain no one saw you?
And here again is Edwina being a sister and caring about Kate. It's another example of her caring about Kate. There may be a little bit there of how, what Kate does will reflect back on her. But the tone she uses and how she approaches it, it's the gentle scolding that one sister might give to another over something that she sees that might be an issue for Kate later.
Yes, now, never mind her. The Dowager is not half as frightening as she thinks she is. You must be excited. This is the first chapter of a happy story.
Now, hear the way that she's phrasing that term. This is the first chapter of a happy story. Now, what that's supposed to suggest to you is this is kind of how Kate has formulated a lot of the things that are happening in their lives in terms of stories, in terms of how they, how things are going to happen. And you'll see the effect of that in a minute.
All you have to do this evening is remember what it is you're looking for.
Someone charming. Mm-hmm. And handsome, of course. A prince or a duke, perhaps.
So when she uses those terms, you have to remember one thing about, Edwina is what they're trying to do is establish with this scene that she's impressionable. And one of the things that's probably happened over the years is Kate, in describing about what's going to happen, has probably referenced things like fairy tales, the stories of true love we hear about in episode 7, all of which feature high-ranking noblemen, because this is the environment that they're going into. And this is the people that she's going to meet. And this is the first inkling that we have that Edwina has built up a narrative in her head about what's going to happen, that what she's going to do is go to the ball, meet the handsome prince, who in this case is actually the handsome Viscount, that he's going to sweep her off her feet, he's going to love her, and he's going to bring her to this perfect life where they don't have to worry about anything and that she's going to be taken care of.
It is not a man's appearance or title that will woo you, it is his mind and spirit that will court yours. He will speak in a manner that only your heart can hear.
Now, one thing I want to point out before I go on, take a look at her face as she's listening to Kate. Rapt attention. She really likes what Kate is saying to her. Now, what Kate is saying, what Kate is doing here is she's essentially doing what a lot of parents do with children. What she's doing is gently chiding her over her interpretation of events or how things will happen. And what she's trying to get her to do is focus on the more realistic piece of it, or what she thinks is the most realistic piece, which is, how does that person make you feel? Does he make you feel like, he cares about you? And she's gently trying to reshape that thought.
That is what you are looking for. That is the true love you deserve.
And again, you see the rapt look of attention on her face as she's paying attention to what she sees as the wisdom that Kate is giving her. And Kate, by the way that she's not really looking at Edwina, and she's speaking from the heart about what she believes, not necessarily what's best for Edwina and what's right for Edwina, but what she believes is the truth. So there's a lot of things that we've taken away from here, and the biggest being what the relationship is between Kate and Edwina, which it's a combination of being sisters, parent and child, mentor and student, and, just the fact that Edwina idolizes Kate and she listens to the things that Kate says because she believes her to be the prime authority figure. We've also established in this scene that Edwina is impressionable, that she listens to things that other people say, and she starts to be concerned about them and worry about them without really analyzing them too much. She absorbs information that Kate gives her. And she's also started creating this narrative in her head about what is about to happen. And one of the things is that piece about how Kate fits into that narrative of this perfect life. And in episode 5, what's said in that scene about Kate's role becomes a part of Edwina's narrative and becomes something that comes out of her mouth like it's her thoughts. And at some point in time, we'll get to the point where I'll do a video on Edwina and I'll show you all these different pieces. But this is my beginning, and I'm anxious for any, thing you have to say down in the comments and how differently you might see this scene. And if you think that there's something that I'm missing here or things that I'm reading wrong. Thank you very much.